curious how you became aware of this story and what made you want to be part of telling it.
One of our producers actually grew up under Russian oppression in communist Poland, and about 8 years ago she discovered Anya and Slava's figurines, and they reminded her of home. She felt such a deep connection to their culture, and we all began work on an animation project together, collaborating, and then Russia invaded, and I called up Slava and I asked, "Are you leaving? Are you guys okay? What's happening?" He said, "No, we're going to stay. We're going to keep making art at night." And I said, "What are you doing during the day?" And he told me he was in the Ukrainian Special Forces. And in this moment, I realized he was training civilians to fight back. And yet, there was this resistance also through their art. And Slava wanted to share this story. And so we were determined to support them to tell this in their own voice and through their own eyes. So we brought cameras in through a volunteer network, and we smuggled them into Ukraine, into a war zone, with the help of a volunteer, actually a hairdresser from New Jersey, who was bringing 50 bags of medical supplies at one time, and she said, "I'll bring these cameras." And when they arrived, we had a challenge. We were separated by 6,000 miles. We were speaking 2 different languages, and we were seemingly separated by 2 different cultures. And at this time, I asked Anya, "How are you feeling?" And she told me, "We're so alone here, we feel like we're on the moon." And this stuck with me, reminded me of the Apollo mission, reminded me of when the astronauts were stranded and their spacecraft was failing. But back on the ground, they had a duplicate of every single piece of equipment. And so for every camera and lens and microphone that I sent to Slava and our cinematographer, Andrei, I had the same thing in my hands in Los Angeles. And we worked together to empower them to take their artistic instincts, to translate them into cinema, and through creating almost an impromptu film school, we enabled them to take those incredible storytelling instincts and translate them to be able to record the footage you saw in the film.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing. That should be a movie in and of itself, just getting these cameras together. Just a thought for, a sequel. Slava and Anya, can you talk about the discussions you had about what you wanted the film to focus on and what you didn't want it to be? Slava, I read this great quote where you said you didn't want it to be focused on evil. And I thought that was so fascinating. What was sort of the thinking behind that?
Thank you. It's true. And the first, from the very beginning, we all felt the huge responsibility, because it was incredible opportunity to share our story about all this incredible action and incredible people around us. And most important, I was not free that time. I was in Ukrainian army, and I was able to work on this movie only because my unit completely supported me. And when I picked up my camera, someone picked up my rifle in my place. Literally, this teeny Katya in movie fought instead of me to create this opportunity. They think it's important. And because this, from the very beginning, we understood it will be not story about destruction. It will be not story about all these disgusting and terrible things from news. Because news gets old quickly, but beauty never. And Anya decided and explained it to me, all war was the same. All ruins looks the same. But much more interesting is beauty around all what can be destroyed. All these amazing people who can be killed any moment. And we filmed every flower, every guy or girl, every building. We filmed like in last second. of their or our existence. Nobody knew that time who survived and how we can finish our movie. And we start to think and try to film something about most important things involved, about humans' bravery, about regular people who are ready to support other people, who are ready to defend democracy, who are ready to fight for their culture and security of their people.
And Anya, how did you feel about, not only having your art put on film, but yourself, your story, being on camera, having your life sort of filmed like that?
I do all what I do, what I did every time, and it's sometimes it was strange when I working and the camera was near my ear. Yes, and
Russian missile.
in this so camera here and behind of my window Russian missile. Yes. What? Yes. I in first time of war, I think about my art, yes, my drawing, and I think it's my drawing. It's my country. It's my same country inside me, and I think about this Russian invasion, and my idea was they don't come inside. My work stay like before the war. All my life I drawing about life, death, day, night, and it must be it must be not about the nation, not about war. It's I take it my border. It's my border.
Paula, you've been a part of several amazing documentaries, including, one about Quincy Jones, who sadly passed this week. How did you come to be involved with this project?
I met Brendan and Daniela first through a mutual friend, and they had known Slava and Anya through art before, and had sent a camera and had some footage. And the minute I saw some of it and met them, I loved them immediately and wanted to help. And so we started. I'm in Boulder, Colorado, so we did lots of Zooms from around the world.
Wow, all these different time zones.
Yeah, lots of time zones, and it was amazing. And we just started asking them questions, like, how did you meet? And before we knew it, Anya was bringing that photo. I'm like, is that you guys? It was just everything.
The children's photo?
Yeah, it was just so organic. They just were very open and collaborative, and it was just an amazing experience to spend this time with them and to help them find ways to tell the story. And yeah, just very organic.
I was actually going to ask about that photo because, in addition to having these beautiful shots of nature and this beautiful work of art juxtaposed with these wartime images, you find these moments of levity and beauty, and one of them is the story of how they meet. That's incredible. You can't script that. Did you even know that existed until
We
you saw
had
the
no
photo?
idea. When Anya jumped up and came up with that photo and put it at the Zoom, we were like, what? And Slava just told me recently that they had been arguing about how much older she was. And so when he was at his mom's, he saw that photo and he brought it back. And he had just brought it the day before, so he knew it was there. It was just,
As Brendan, as a director, when you see something like that, you know you have something special, and I suspect you had several moments like that during this.
There were so many instances where we just felt the gamut of human emotion. I mean, there were things like that would make us laugh. We saw Anya and Slava's work that would make us smile and move us to tears. And even in the process of filming, we became so close. There were many times when Slava would be sending footage, and he was very, excited and eager to share new material. And then we would lose contact. He would say, there's a showing. The internet would go out. The power would go out, and I wouldn't hear from them. I would be up all night. I would be waiting. I couldn't sleep, and finally we'd hear, okay, we're okay. The internet's back. Here comes everything. But it was a process of complete contrast. Every day for them, they never knew what they were going to wake up into. And if they had the opportunity to create, they would create. And if they needed to be trained or go on a mission, that's what they would do.
I also love, your artwork is so beautiful. What was it like seeing it come to life through animation, and how did you sort of decide upon that idea?
If I remember right, when we begin to think about animation, we took all photos of our work. It's 20 years of work, maybe. And all this material we sent to Poland, to beautiful animation studio Blue, and they studied all this material and made 7,000 handmade little pictures to make my drawing alive. And I remember how during our Zoom, one of our many of our Zooms, Aniela said me, and now we show you first animation. And I see how my little snail without shell, with this little pet on the leash, absolutely bravely walking,
running
like alive. And
Wow.
yeah.
It's magical.
Yeah.
Did you
It was absolutely magical.
Did you know from the start you wanted to incorporate animation?
It was always a part of how they saw the world and interpret their lives. And it was a part of the project from the very beginning. It was almost unspoken because that was the beginning of our collaboration before we started to work on the documentary. And the animation was something that it was an enormous challenge because we needed to create the animation while we were filming. And we actually edited the film while we were shooting. So we were animating, they were shooting, and we were cutting all simultaneously. But the animation, it was the way that they saw their past, their peaceful life in Crimea, and how they interpreted these incredibly horrific moments at the beginning of the invasion, and how they envisioned their future. So these things were always a part of their story, and so it was really integral to the documentary because that's how they record what's happening in their lives and reflect on it and share it.
Sure.
And can I add this? Animation gave us the language to speak about terrors of war without showing them like the news does. Because news gets old, but beauty never. And we tried to bring something, to bring hope, tell something about bravery, and we tried to inspire people.
Just kind of want to ask a couple of logistical questions of Paul and Brandon. How many hours of footage do you imagine you had to cut from, and how long did filming actually take place?
So we actually had over 500 hours of footage.
Okay.
It was shot on 15 cameras. So we started with one camera, but by the end they had body cameras and multiple bodies and also drones as well. And the editing process occurred over the course of 9 months. We'd started shooting before that in 2022, but the entire edit of the film was very simultaneous to them acquiring all this footage. And so we didn't know what was going to happen. They didn't know where their lives were leading, but we followed their lives. So everything that came in, we would cut that and would incorporate into the story. And it was a really dynamic process because we were always sharing dailies and reflecting on how to film things and what we were filming. And at the beginning, we felt we didn't share, the same spoken language, but we realized instantly we were fluent in visual art. And so we actually communicated during the editing and filming process by drawing. We shared drawings and we shared photographs and paintings and storyboards, and so this was a totally fluent language for Slava and I and Andrei, our cinematographer.
Do you want to add anything?
Yeah, we also had 7 translators, multiple languages in the film, and Slava and Anya didn't speak any English when we met them for the first time when they came to Sundance. We met in person when they got off the plane. And so since they've been here, they've also learned English. But everything
This is less than a year?
Yeah.
What? That's incredible. Sorry.
Talented everywhere, not only in films. We are multiple
That's
talented
amazing.
Ukrainians. That's why.
Really, we have not time. Really, Ukrainians now we have no time to study how to fight. We just start to fight. We have no time to, our team have no time, Andrei and me, have no time to really study how to film. Brandon taught us on Zoom, and we just start to film. And we have no time to study English. Sorry, my English, because Paula just forced us to speak.
No, it's excellent. It's amazing. You mentioned how, especially with documentaries, you don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know where it ends, where it begins sometimes. Obviously, we had a tough week this week with an election. How is that affecting, the movie? Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't know how to word this other than to say, how is it affecting the movie, the future of the film, as you roll it out and share it with people?
Well, I can certainly say this. The story takes place within the borders of Ukraine, but the outcome of this conflict affects all of us. This is the largest conflict in Europe since World War II. This is a democracy in Ukraine that was unpromptly attacked, and democracies, when something is invaded, authoritarian governments, other authoritarian governments are watching this. So this is not just about Ukraine, this is about all of us. It's about freedom and it's about democracy. If you look at other countries like China, they have their sights set on Taiwan. If Russia wins there, it could embolden them to attack, and that destabilizes things in Asia. Putin has said he doesn't plan just to stop at Ukraine. He will continue on. That destabilizes Europe. That affects all of us because freedom and democracy matters to everybody, and sharing stories that are about our ability, even when it seems like there's no hope, even when it seems the darkest of times, we have the ability to put good back into the world and to share what we're capable of as people. And I think sharing those kind of stories is more critical now than ever, because this really, really matters, because democracy is truly a threat all around the world at this time.
Our story is about my friends, civilian people who came to army to defend their uniqueness, humanity, and democracy in Ukraine. 2.5 years gone. They are worn out. Their health is damaged. Their family are broken apart, but they still ready to fight for democracy. It's something about what regular people can to do for freedom.
Well, to that end, I would ask that everybody, you clearly love the movie, please spread the word about it, let everyone know. There's a reception outside, so please join us and we can talk some more there. Thank you so much for being here.